The Disney Parks Podcast is now on Stitcher, radio on demand. You can listen to us on your iPhone, Android phone, Kindle Fire, and other devices using the Stitcher application. Find it free on your App Store or at Stitcher.com. Now on Stitcher, radio on demand. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Disney Parks Podcast, show number 0033 for the week of January 23rd, 2013. My name is Parkhopper John, and I come to you from the WDW Parkhoppers website, and joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, Mr. Tony Casanova from DisneyByTheNumbers.com.
As Walt Disney once said, Disneyland is a work of love. We didn't go into this just for the idea of making money. Oh, how I wish that was still true.
Amen. Our third leg in this amazing stool that we call the Disney Parks Podcast is not going to be joining us today. Again, she's dealing with some issues with her husband. We're praying for Kathy Winfield Cheely and her husband. He's going through some health stuff, so we're looking forward to have Kathy back. It was great having her on the show last week, and we're going to keep moving forward as Uncle Walt told us to do. So we're going to go ahead and do the show. I want to encourage you guys, if you haven't already, go out to iTunes and subscribe to us, rate us, review us, let us know how we're doing. You can always visit us at DisneyParksPodcast.com. And if you'd like to leave us a message or a note, you can leave a comment in the comment section. You can send us an email at questions@DisneyParksPodcast.com. And you can call the red hot Disney Parks Podcast hotline at 407-476-8898. Tony, can you believe that it's already almost February?
I cannot. It's almost February, and they announced food and wine dates already.
That's awesome and crazy all at the same time.
September 27th to November 10th.
Jeez.
That's nuts.
That's crazy. But it's a good kind of crazy, and, you know, as Disney fans, I guess we'll take it. But it just seemed like the other day that we were, you know, hanging out at Christmas and New Year's, and then all of a sudden, boom, now it's February. It's going to be another one of those crazy years. And the other thing about this year is D23 Expo year, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay with us here at the Disney Parks Podcast. We have a lot of cool things that we're going to be doing. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the news and rumors, the long-awaited, oft-maligned, much-anticipated, sort of long-lost Disney friends are returning for the quote-unquote limited-time magic. By the time this podcast comes out, they'll already be out on the floor, so to speak, at the Magic Kingdom. Long-lost Disney friends are returning to the Magic Kingdom Park just to meet you and your family. For this week, 1 week only, January 21st through the 27th, be sure to have your camera ready for those rare opportunities to possibly brush shoulders with classic characters like Clarabelle Cow, Horace Horsecollar, Robin Hood and Friar Tuck. And there's also a chance that you'll see the Three Little Pigs and more surprises at Magic Kingdom. So that begs the question, Tony, which long-lost Disney character would you like to see most? What are you most looking forward to?
You know, I was thinking about that, and I'm thinking to myself, what characters do I remember meeting as a kid? And, you know, what I'd love to do? I'd love to see the old Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse costumes come out. I mean, now, you know, Mickey blinks, you know, he can almost talk to us. You know, back in the day, Mickey's head was huge. You know, it's not the proper size, you know, costume. So I don't know. I think I'd almost like to go see the old time Mickey costumes and Donald and Daisy and Minnie and see, you know, I think there were, and even Goofy was actually goofy looking. You know,
right.
And now he's more friendly. You know,
I think this is a great idea overall.
Yeah.
My heart's desire is I think that it would be better to go ahead and have them out all the time.
Yeah.
Because you know when you're talking Clarabelle Cow and Horace Horsecollar, even Robin Hood, you know, is there a disconnect between this generation of kids and these characters that are walking the streets that may or may not be, characters that they know unless they happen to have watched the movie or happen to have seen a video on YouTube.
Yeah. And even the Three Little Pigs. I mean, do the kids today even know the story of the Three Little Pigs? I mean, I don't know what they're being read at bedtime, so I can't,
Right.
I'm not in everybody's bedroom. And
we thank you for that.
Yeah, and I'm thankful I'm not there. I even remember the parade, back in the 70s. The Three Little Pigs would walk, and I think they even had like a brick chimney, that they used to kind of push down Main Street. So, if they had a place in the park, any park, it doesn't matter what it was, that they could just revolve, characters through. Like today, it's, Robin Hood. Tomorrow, it's the Peter Pan. Next it's the Brave characters. Next it's the Tangle characters. Next it's the Snow White. And just have each week or each month,
right?
Go through the whole library of movie characters that they have, and have a place where you can meet these things on a rotating basis. Right. If you do it for a month, well, it's great. It may not be the month you're here, but at least you have a chance of seeing characters that you may not always see.
Right. I hope they're doing tie-ins. Like when you stay at the resorts, they often show movies like out on the beach or out in the. I hope that they're like doing movie tie-ins, like at least showing the shorts that these characters are in, or possibly showing like Robin Hood that week that the Robin Hood characters are out, because that would make a connection at least to the people who are, resident. Guest residences on Disney property. I think that would be kind of a neat thing too. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, because I didn't grow up with Disney like you did, which breaks my heart to say. But I'm looking forward to seeing some of the old characters.
And here's the other thing too. Back in the day, you didn't go meet the characters somewhere. They used to walk around the park and just shake people's hands and do a quick autograph signing, and they were free roaming vapors throughout the park.
I think to some degree they still kind of do that at Disneyland, because a couple of years ago, the first time I was there, literally Peter Pan was walking around and he had a wooden dagger that he was tossing up in the air and catching, and tossing up in the air and catching. He was interacting with the crowd, but he was just walking around. I'm like, they don't do that at Walt Disney World.
No,
it's a different mindset out there.
They're standing in a spot. There's a line, an hour long,
right?
And that's what I kind of missed. It was the spontaneity of, oh my God, we bumped into Peter Pan, or we bumped into so and so. There's no bumping into. You have to know where they are. You have to go there. You have to stand in a line, and that's how you bump into your character now.
Yeah, and if you bump into a character when they're repositioning, they will not stop for pictures.
Yeah, no, they don't. They absolutely do not. No, the their bodyguards tell you no.
And their handlers.
Yeah.
So that leads us to this question: with the long lost Disney friends coming for that quote unquote limited time magic, we would love to know two things. One, who you would most like to meet.
Yep.
And the second thing is how you feel about this long lost Disney friends thing. So why don't you drop us a comment in the comment section in the area below this podcast. If you are listening to this show on iTunes or Stitcher, please feel free to call the hotline. We really do want to know. We want this to be an interactive podcast. That's one of the things that we've really strived to do in this year, is to be more interactive. So the only way we could be more interactive with you is if you guys pick up the phone or drop us an email at questions@disneyparkspodcast.com. We would really love to know. I don't really have a long lost Disney friend that I would like to see return, because I'm a new generation Disney fan, so I guess this is going more for the seasoned Disney person. Right.
Yeah, the show needs to be. Me and John are having a conversation. We'd like to extend that conversation to you. So,
right. Absolutely.
We can't do it via a podcast, but we can certainly do it via comments or the phone.
Right.
All right. The next story is exciting. Very exciting. I thought he already had one of these, but maybe I was mistaken. So there's a window on Main Street USA now at Disneyland Park for the great Imagineer Marty Sklar. After 54 years, and that is a long time with any company, Marty retired on July 17, 2009, the 54th anniversary of Disneyland Park, and received his window on Main Street, USA, the same day. Located at City Hall, Marty's window is a tribute to the inspirational leader, design instincts, and creative philosophies. Etched on his window is the Latin phrase, id... Oh, jeez.
I'll give it a whirl.
Go ahead.
Id somniate, id facite.
There you go. John said it probably right. That is correct, John.
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding. Which means dream it, do it. Of course. I would have known that. And is intended to inspire dreamers and doers of the future. Marty has also been honored with the window on Main Street Disneyland Park, Paris, Hong Kong, Disneyland, and the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World Resort, which he should, because he is the only living Imagineer to open every single Disney park. So, I just say, congratulations, Marty. It's, well deserved, well earned, and if you're in any of these parks, please go visit Marty's window, because probably right alongside a Walt window, there should be a Marty window, because,
yeah,
54 years with the company is huge. I'm
right.
Celebrating 15 with mine, and I'm like, after reading 54, I'm going, oh, wait, I think I have a little bit more to go.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah. So. And
this is great. If you're not familiar with this concept, what we're talking about is the windows down Main Street USA. In all of the Main Street USAs aren't just windows.
Right.
They're ways to honor people that had something to do with that park or the parks overall, or the Disney company. And it's really amazing when you stop and take the time. And of course, this is me talking as a local. Mm-hmm. I'm not somebody who's on vacation. I only have like 2 days in a park, and right. I have to get all the rides in. But to be able to walk down the streets, there's a great book out. Windows on Main? Yeah, Windows on Main Street. Yeah. That goes into deeper detail on what each window means, and gives a lot of the backstory about who they're for. But all the windows tell a story. In my favorite set of windows, and I'm going to side with Disney World, because that's my home property, is the windows that talk about the different companies, the front companies that Disney had to start because they were buying up the property here in Florida, and they didn't want it to get out because it was Walt Disney buying it. So they had all these front company names, and all the front companies are listed on the windows going down Main Street USA. I think that's awesome. Yeah. So congratulations, Marty. It's just well deserved.
Yeah. And a lot of the attractions do pay tribute to Imagineers. I'll just throw out one example I know of and a new example I just learned of. So in the Royal Table in Cinderella Castles, the shields on the wall are the actual shields of the different Imagineer families that helped build the Magic Kingdom. It starts with the Disney shield, and then it goes around to the other shields. And I just recently learned that in Be Our Guest, in the ballroom on the ceiling, there's the little, angel cherub people. Well, the faces on those are the faces of the Imagineers as babies. That's right. I said it.
That's awesome.
So if you have a camera and you go there, zoom in and take those pictures, and then you can play Guess What Baby Imagineer picture that is. So that's just something I learned recently. So
that's great.
So good for them. Great. And Imagineering celebrated their 60th year last year. I think in December, right?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, I believe it was December.
60 years of Imagineering, so great. Good stuff.
So our next news item is for those people who are fans of Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and fans of watches, timepieces. Yeah. Disney show artist Jason Zucker has created this piece of incredible art for a limited edition watch that should be arriving early in February. These watches will have an edition size of 150 and will include watch face artwork printed with an individually numbered certificate. And once released, we should be able to find these watches at Futurosity in Disneyland or at the Uptown Jeweler store in the Magic Kingdom Park. And I believe they're also going to be found at the Art of Disney in Downtown Marketplace at Walt Disney World as well. There are still no plans to sell these watches and on the Disney Parks online store. But that's really cool. But the other thing is, for Pocket Watch fans, the Pocket Watch version is due to be released at the end of April. So if you have been to the Buena Vista Street at Disney California Adventure Park, you may recall seeing similar artwork used on merchandise at Oswald's service station. And this watch will have an edition size of 150 as well, and will be released at Elias & Company and off the page at Disney California Adventure Park. The Disney Parks online store won't be carrying these watches, so if you don't get them in the parks, you're probably not going to get them at all.
Yeah,
I think this is cool. I don't know if I'd be buying a pocket watch and be useful, but it'd be a great piece of art to have.
I have one Disney Pocket Watch. I have the train.
No, really?
Yeah, and when you open it, it plays the train sound.
Oh, I need to get one of those.
So I may have to go hunt down this pocket watch, or find somebody that will go fetch it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't wear my pocket watch as much as I should. I'm also I also don't want to damage it or get scratched. So.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. So.
No kidding. Yeah.
All right, so the next story, in order to, I guess, try and get people to go to the Animal Kingdom, because there's never anybody there, they're going to start having a game. So if you recall, young Russell from the film Up, couldn't think of that, is a dedicated wilderness explorer who can't wait to earn his badges. And by having all kinds of adventures and learning about the world, Disney is announcing that the Wilderness Explorer Adventure Organization is coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. With a planned opening this spring, soon guests can become the Wilderness Explorers and experience the entire park, because nobody goes to the entire park, using their field guides, collecting challenges, and earning badges as they go. There'll be more than 30 badges available. Now, I asked myself, are these going to be physical badges or virtual badges? We can get like a communicator and we collect them or is there going to be a smartphone app? So they really didn't say how this whole thing's going to work. So I guess we have to wait for more to come out on this. But I guess, for me, this is just trying to get attendance into the poor Animal Kingdom, and to get people to stay there longer. I would love to know, statistically, how long a guest is in the Animal Kingdom compared to the other three parks.
Right.
It's got to be short.
I think it's just pure synergy, if I can use that buzzword from the 90s.
It could be.
And I think it's great. I think this is on level with the Agent P's World Showcase Adventure, because I think it's a way to get kids interested in the World Showcase in different countries. This is a great way to get kids interested in exploring the Animal Kingdom and learning about different plants and animals. And I think it's cool. I would love for there to be badges that you could earn and, get the Explorer sash like the old Boy Scout stuff.
I was just going to say, John, if Disney was smart, there'd be like two ways to do this. One is your virtual thing. You can collect them virtually on your smartphone. The other one would be sell the sash and make the pins, the badges. Right. And you can, opt to say, all right, I'll take the thing and then buy the pin too. That's what they should really be doing. This could be a money maker, or it could just be something to do in the park.
Right.
Or they can blend the two.
Yeah. And I'd be cool with it. I would be excited about doing this. I don't know if I'd be really hip to having to do the whole thing that Russell had to do.
Yeah.
I think that it would be fun. I could see me doing it in the wintertime. There's no way I would step into that park in the summertime.
Yeah, too hot.
Yeah, it's 10 to 15 degrees hotter than all the other parks because all the foliage holds the heat in.
Yep.
There's your tip for the week.
Yeah.
I hate to say that. I do love Animal Kingdom.
Now, this is not on our list of show notes, but I heard a rumor, actually 2 rumors, about the Animal Kingdom. One rumor was that the Lion King show is going away. It was just going to, poof, disappear off the planet. Rumor number 2 was they were going to move the Animal Kingdom show to another area in the park. Now, the reason for either making it vaporize or moving it was our new president in charge of the parks is bringing Avatar Land. Period. End of story. And this area has to be refurbished for Avatar Land. That's the rumor. So let's get the rumor mill going.
I have heard the same rumor that they were moving it to Africa. That they were going to build a facility and do it in Africa, which would be cool. That there needs to be something else in Africa because it's pretty much the safari ride or nothing, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really great. I don't want to lose this show.
I don't either.
I think it's a great show.
Property.
I think it's probably one of my, it's in the top 5.
Yeah.
Probably top 3. But there's a lot of wasted space there too because they've got that whole theater where they used to do the Pocahontas and Friends,
sure,
puppet, grand finale thing. But and would I hate to see that area go? Outside of meeting characters and going to the Lion King, Camp Minnie Mickey is a big bust for me anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot to do there.
And I got a buddy of mine that's so excited about Avatar Land he can't even see straight. But I cannot.
Tell him he's the only one. So tell him to stand up and be counted.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I can't.
There's not a long line of people behind him. I don't think.
He has his own podcast, man. He is preaching the joys and goodness of Avatar, but I can't get behind it. But hey, we'll see what happens. Disney, anything can happen at Disney, and probably will.
That's right.
So we'll see. Well, another piece of news that came out this week is the Royal Hall at Fantasy Fair in Disneyland Park is coming soon, which is exciting. Rapidly approaching is the opening of the all-new Fantasy Fair at Disneyland Park. And if you've taken a walk by Sleeping Beauty Castle lately, you know that work is progressing nicely, and this beautiful expansion of the park's Fantasyland is going to be amazing. And one of the main attractions in this quaint Storybook Village will be the Royal Hall, where beloved Disney royalty eagerly will be awaiting your visit. And after you walk into the main entrance, you will first go through a garden-like setting before entering into the reception hall. Once inside the Royal Hall, guests will then discover a beautiful Gothic interior with very nice, tasteful wallpaper, wall-cresting wood finishes, and the coveted chandeliers. Passing through a series of spaces, including the Grand Hall, you will then have the opportunity to meet as many as, count them, 1, 2, 3 Disney princesses from classic stories such as Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. I thought they already had something like this at Disneyland. Didn't they have this, I've been there a couple times. People who listen to this podcast who are Disneyland people, please help me out. And I'm sorry about butchering this, but they had like this big tent thing set up that had all, you walked in, you waited, and you met with the princesses. I guess they're doing away with that and making this a more permanent structure.
Yeah, I think this is the more permanent answer to that solution.
Which is great.
It's more princesses. That's all.
Well,
I mean, why stop at 3? Put 5 of them in there. You got Little Mermaid, you got Tangled, you got Brave, you got fill it up. I mean, why just stop at 3?
I wonder if they'll be rotating.
Yeah, maybe. I think these character areas are becoming more popular. I think Disney sees that people really want to meet the characters. Parents don't want to wait outside in hot lines and the heat and the rain and whatever. So they're kind of moving these meet and greets indoors, which I guess I agree with. Maybe they just need to build a huge pavilion and put them all. Come meet 25 characters, 30 characters, 50 characters.
That could be the new Disney park. It's Character Land.
It's a think of it as just a giant queue and maze, and you just go from character to character to character to character. And behind them is some kind of backdrop of their movie or whatever. Like a giant photography studio.
Right.
Disney Fast Pass. Think Photo Pass. Think of that. It would be great. You could, sell a character meeting, card. For $159.99, you can meet 30 characters and have your family taking a picture with all of them.
Yeah. Better yet, they could just take one picture of you and just Photoshop in the character.
Yeah, that would be even better, John. A green screen shot of your family. This is perfect. A green screen shot. And then you go to DisneyPhotoPass.com and you say, oh, you know what? We didn't take a picture with, Robin Hood. Drop over Robin Hood, and boom. Robin Hood is now standing with your family.
That's right. Flash forward 10 years, and you're looking at pictures with your 15-year-old. Mom, I don't remember taking a picture of Robin Hood. Oh, yeah. Remember we stood in a line, and there was Robin Hood? Yeah. Okay, Mom. Nice. There's parents screaming at their iPods and their computers right now.
All right, wait. Hold on. This is even better yet.
The views and opinions of Tony Casanova do not reflect those of the Disney Parks podcast.
Me and you are going to create an app called something like, I wasn't really on vacation in Disney World. And we'll just have pictures of, like, the parade. We'll have pictures of the castle or, Spaceship Earth. And then all you have to do is take a picture of your family. We drop them in. We could create a whole photo album of Disney over the years with your family, and it won't cost you a dime. It'll cost you $199.99, and you'll get a whole photo album of Christmas Disney pictures that you were never on vacation. Save the $3,000. We'll just make your album for you.
Disneygram, taking Instagram by storm.
Yeah. Pictures. When your kid is young, so he can't go. I don't remember.
That's right.
Going to Florida, Mom.
Yeah.
This is great. I think this is a new project, John.
All right. Well,
we're both photographers. We got good cameras. We could take some high-quality pictures.
Focation.com. Hey, why stop at Disney World? We could do Disney, Disneyland, Paris, we New York. We could just do different countries and, the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
We could do all sorts of. I'm sensing
Put it in a nice binded album with pictures. We'll actually print the pictures out.
Let's just scrap this whole Disney crap and just go Focation.com.
Yeah, there you go, Focation. The vacation I was never on.
The vacation you never had with the family you never knew.
Yeah, if you don't have family, we'll make some family up for you.
Why wait in line and spend the money when you can have the pictures to prove you weren't there?
Why drop $3,000 to stay at the Grand Floridian when we can photocrop you there?
Oh, geez. If anybody from Disney is listening, please. That's all
please
Tony Casanova.
Please call us at 4.
You spend your money at Disney parks. Remember, we're Florida residents. We don't have state income tax.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So never mind. You'll have to come here to have. You'll have to come to my studio.
That's right.
Here in Orlando.
Right. That's right. Well, we have a new bakery opening up in the France Pavilion at Epcot at Walt Disney World, and I knew that we were all waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
But the new, I can't say French.
I can't either.
So,
Halles Bolgener Pasteria?
God bless you.
Yeah.
At the French Pavilion opens up each morning at 9 a.m. ahead of the 11 a.m. opening of World Showcase, so you can sip on a latte with a chocolate croissant to start your day, or perhaps a cappuccino with a French, man. I can't speak French.
A cappuccino with I don't know what that. It's an apple turnover.
Right. Or perhaps a cappuccino with an apple turnover, or an espresso and an eclair. And that's just a sampling, a taste, if you will, of the expansive new menu that this amazing French bakery offers all day long. The new bakery is at least 10 times larger than the former sweet shop. It's located in the space adjacent to the French movie theater exit. And the new bakery will offer sweets, soups, sandwiches, salads, and other authentic French dishes, such as quiche, croque monsieur, which is grilled ham and cheese, and uh, two or three other dishes that neither Tony or I can
Right.
pronounce from the south of France, and some cheese. So
Yep.
there you go, folks. If you're a big French cuisine fan, this is got to be very exciting. I'm not sure I'm really down with it. My wife, Parkhopper
No,
Sid,
no,
is
you're
going
down with this,
to
John. You have to see this location inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the lunch stuff looks pretty nice.
Okay, gun to your head. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hanging out at the new bakery at France or Tudo Gusto?
Oh, no, no, no. That's not a comparison. You're not allowed to make that. I'm at Tutto Gusto. Actually, I'm going to both these places probably tomorrow. But I have seen pictures of the inside, and it is definitely huge
Oh,
compared
really?
to what it was. If you remember, there was that little hole in the wall. You kind of walked past the glass
Yeah.
case of the pastries. Now it's actually you walk in this huge place. And then where the old bakery is going to be something else. They're going to expand that area and make that something else. But the menu looks fantastic for, something to eat there for lunch, without having to. I guess you would call it a quick service
Right.
type of thing. I'm kind of liking it because it really was not in that area a quick place to eat. You couldn't just grab a sandwich or a soup or a salad or something, because what's on the other side is all right. So England, fish and chips was the closest thing,
Right.
between the
Right.
bridge and France. So,
Right.
but the inside
Well,
looks really, really nice. So I'll let you know tomorrow because I'm going here and then to Tutto Gusto,
oh,
because
so jealous.
my mom's in town and she hasn't been to Tutto Gusto.
No,
There's nothing
geez.
like some cured meats and cheese from Italy
No, there's not.
and some liquor.
No, there's not, my friend.
All right. The next limited time magic is from Disneyland. Now, you heard what we got here in the Magic Kingdom. some old characters. We dusted off the mold from some costumes. And so this is what they're getting in California. It's almost, since Mardi Gras is around the corner, I guess that's the theme they're shooting for on this limited time magic. They'll get a New Orleans Bayou Bash, and it's almost time to let the good times roll at the Disneyland Park with the return of the New Orleans Bayou Bash. This year, it will be part of the limited time magic there at Disneyland Resort in California. The New Orleans Square will be decked out for the party. So will some of your favorite Disney friends. So here are some dates. This starts in New Orleans Square from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the following dates: January 18th to the 21st, January 25th to the 27th, February 1st to February 3rd, February 6th to February 8th to February 12th. So here's what you get. The Princess Tiana Mardi Gras celebration, which will be with Princess Tiana, Louis, and Prince Navarre, make their way through New Orleans Square to the Rivers of America, where a musical celebration takes place, featuring tunes from Disney's Prince and the Frog. Then you'll have the Jambalaya Jazz Band. The popular band will perform their jazzy tunes along the streets of New Orleans Square. You'll have the Royal Street Bachelors. This is Disneyland's favorite. Will be found at the French Market stage and will be joined throughout the day by Princess Tiana. You'll have the New Orleans Traditional Jazz Band. Throughout the day, a rousing Mardi Gras procession will burst onto the streets of New Orleans Square in a traditional second line style, and an umbrella dancer leads the mashup of a colorful performers and musicians. And last but not least, you'll have character greetings at the Court of Angels, where Princess Tiana will be greeting Disneyland Park guests along with Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and their Mardi Gras finest.
When you said they were dusting off the old costumes and stuff, you were incredibly on the mark. Remember when, boys and girls, let Uncle John take you back to
The way
a
back
finer time when there was a movie coming out. It was going to be Disney's first hand-drawn animation in years. It was called The Princess and the Frog. And what they did is they had these really cool celebrations that they started. They did it at Walt Disney World and they did it at Disneyland, where the main characters and a group of dancers would parade down from, if you were at Disneyland, they would parade down through New Orleans Square. If you were at Walt Disney World, they would parade down through Liberty Square. I knew it was a square. I just couldn't remember what the name of it was. I'm a horrible Disney fan. So they would parade down through New Orleans Square at Disneyland, and then they would parade down through Liberty Square if you were at Walt Disney World, and they would make their way onto the awaiting boat, the riverboat. And then they would get on the riverboat, and they would go halfway around the river, and then they would park, and then they would do a show on the boat. Mm-hmm. And then they would finish the show, and it was great, and it was cool. So I guess they're pulling that back out. They're knocking the mothballs off that, and then they're kind of just advertising what they already kind of do.
Yeah.
It's a couple of additions, but, you know, they were doing character meet and greets in Mardi Gras style. They do that every year. So this is one of those things where it's, this is part of the reason, and I hate being that guy. This is part of the reason why this whole limited time magic thing gets me frustrated.
Yeah.
So,
it's just things they've done in the past, and they're calling it limited time magic and redoing them again. So far, it's been nothing new and exciting. You know, we had the Winter Wonderland thing in Canada here in Epcot. Yeah, big deal. You know, it was characters. It wasn't anything I couldn't. It was Donald in his winter outfit. I could see that at Christmas time. I don't, you know.
Right.
I'm not excited yet.
Yeah, is the limited time magic going to include Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party?
Maybe, yeah.
And the Christmas parade, and only for a limited time. Yeah, it's always for a limited time. But anyway, that's
So, all right. Since this podcast is called the Disney Parks Podcast, we are going to try and bring you some news from other parks besides the two here in North America.
That's un-American.
I've heard there are other parks outside of North America.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, here you go. This is from Disneyland Paris. And Disneyland Paris has something called Disneyland Paris Generations. So, for its 20th anniversary, Disneyland Paris is bringing a new wave of imagination to the web by unveiling an interactive, collaborative platform, especially for guests, fans, cast members, partners, and the media. And it's called Disneyland Paris Generations. This concept is simple. We all have Disneyland Paris story. So, this brand new website flicks through the pages of the resort's history book, offering 20 years of stories, photos, and videos from the archives of Disneyland Paris. It also keeps users updated on current events during the anniversary year. An entire section focuses on behind-the-scenes activity and the talents of more than 14,500 cast members who have helped make Disneyland Paris what it is today. Most importantly, each user is invited to share his or her own Disneyland Paris stories, be they guests, fans, or cast members. The heart of this project lies in moments, memories, and unforgettable experiences with Disneyland Paris. Now, the only problem that I got with this story was they did not give the website. So
seriously,
that was I went to the Disneyland Paris media site, reading the story, and I said, "Oh, great, this is fantastic," but they did not give this. So maybe I think it's on the Disneyland Paris homepage. I'm hoping there's a link there, and I had not gone there, but we'll have to dig that up, John, and see if we can maybe post that somewhere in the show notes later.
I think this is good.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things that all the parks should do on anniversary years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wishing they had done it for other parks that are a little closer to our hearts, maybe. Yeah. Magic Kingdom, Epcot. But I think this is wonderful, and any time that you get a collaboration between the guests and the cast members, you know, sharing stories about it, I think is a win.
Right.
And I love seeing the backstage stuff. I mean, I don't want to rain on anybody's magic or anything like that. I just love to see some of that background stuff. And I would love to see how they spend the beginning few years of this park.
Yeah.
Because it was rough to start.
Yeah, I like the Fantasyland page that they did, where they had the history of the Magic Kingdom.
Right.
They had going back to 1971.
Yeah.
Day. I like seeing that. I love when they pull out old pictures of construction and Walt and Imagineers or whatever. I love when they pull out that old stuff, especially when they tell us, oh, this has never been seen before. That makes it all the more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Ooh. And I not ever having been to Disneyland Paris, this is the kind of thing that would make a really hardcore Disney fan plan a trip to Paris.
Sure.
We know it's out there. I want to go to Disney Sea. I want to go to Hong Kong Disney. I want to go. I would love to go to Disneyland Paris. I had an opportunity a long time ago. If I had wanted to, I could have gone. But I was not in the Disney frame of mind, so I didn't take the opportunity.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that would make me want to plan a trip to, Europe and spend a few days in London, spend a few days in Paris, and then hit up the park.
Yeah.
Because, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, there is no joy for a Disney fan greater than discovering a brand new park for the first time.
Right. Absolutely.
So this kind of thing is exciting.
Yeah. I was having dinner with some friends the other night, and somebody said, well, if you fly me, it was a cast member friend, if you fly me to Tokyo, I'll get you into the park. I'm like, wait a minute. The flight to Japan is a little bit more in value than a one-day ticket to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Even though there is an exchange rate, I still think it's not the same. But I said, listen, if we're going all the way to Tokyo, I said, we're going to the other two parks in Asia, too. I said, I'm not just going to Tokyo and not going to see the other two. I'm there. Right. I'm on the other side of the world. I might as well do it. And I said, if I'm doing that, then I might as well fly to Paris on the way home and just, finish off all of them, and just say, I'm done. I've seen now all the parks.
Yeah, no kidding. Just go ahead and
make it a
take your retirement. Take your retirement.
3 days there, 3 days there. Couple days to fly, 1 day there, 1 day back, whatever.
That's right. Sell your house, burn through your retirement.
Whatever it takes, John.
For 2 weeks of Disney debauchery. It'd be awesome.
I would have to, I'd have to bring some serious hard drive space because I would be snapping photos like there was no tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, let's kind of launch off of that, and let's ask this question. And I want to invite each and every one of you guys to leave a comment in our section below. And yes, you could call the Disney Parks hotline, but I really want to encourage you guys to leave us a comment because this is going to be something that would be easier to read than to listen to. Why don't you give us your itinerary for the perfect Disney debauchery trip? I mean, Tony kind of outlined his. I would probably do it a little bit differently, but let me give you an example. Here's what I'm looking for. For me, what I would do is I would book myself on the repositioning cruise that one of the Disney cruise lines takes from here to Spain. It's like 17-day cruise. And then I would travel through Spain, and I would do an Adventure by Disney in Scotland, the new one.
Oh, yeah.
Then I would take a couple of days and do England, just because, you got to see London and all that stuff, the history and everything. And then I would do Disneyland Paris.
Right.
And then I would truck on over to Japan and China and hit those parks. And then I would come back via spending a week in Aulani. And I would cruise back from Aulani and spend a week in Disneyland. And then I would come back and spend a week at Walt Disney World. That's my Disney debauchery trip. I would love to hear what you guys out there have to say. So leave us a comment with your Disney debauchery trip, or whatever you would like to call it, because if you've got kids, having to explain what the word debauchery means could be a little, icky. But I think that would be awesome.
The ultimate Disney vacation.
The ultimate Disney vacation.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. You can email it to us, too, at questions@disneyparkspodcast.com. We'll take it in email format.
That'd be great.
Doing that. Or call us, 407-476-8898. We'll take it in audio format as well. All right, so I guess we said this maybe in our first show of the new year. We're going to try some new things. And I had this wonderful idea, and we'll see how wonderful it is, called Rants and Raves. So each week, or maybe not each week, but whenever we have the need that we need to rant and rave about something Disney, we're going to start a new segment called Rants and Raves. And this week I have one of each. There was, huge rumors going around on the interwebs, I guess in December, about some changes with the annual pass holder discounts. If you have a Premier and Premium, the Premier is both coasts. The Premium for us Florida residents, or Florida people, you get all the parks plus the water parks, and Disney Quest. And along with that, you got a 20% discount off of merchandise. And that discount was being reduced from 20% down to 10%. So the problem with that is that, hey, I paid for a premium pass that gets me the parks plus a 20% discount. And I really use that discount probably more than a normal person would, buying a lot of good Disney stuff. But since they reduced it, that kind of made me a little mad, considering I'm paying a premium price for this premium benefit. So that's my rant. And, I really wish that Disney had notified us, or at the time of renewal said, hey, Mr. Casanova, got bad news. Your discount's going from 20 to 10 come January 1st. I would have said, you know what? Then just give me the regular pass, not the premium. All I'm asking for is some notification, some communication. As the Marines say, shoot, move, and communicate. So, that's all I guess I was. I guess I was more mad that I wasn't told, that I was just blindsided with this by the internet. That's not how I would expect my communication come from a multi-billion-dollar customer that I'm paying a lot of money to, use a discount for. So,
I thought the Marines said kill them all at God sort of amount, but I could be wrong.
They may have said that too. And leave no man behind.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Let me lean on our friendship for a little bit, and let me play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, now I know that you spend a ton of money at Disney,
mm-hmm.
but it's one of those things where your pass owes you nothing as often as you go to the parks.
No.
And the same thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really that big a deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is to my wallet. To my bank
I get that. I get
bank
that.
account. Yeah. Like I tell people, I really use that discount a lot. I do buy a lot of. You've been to my house, John. I do buy a lot of Disney merch.
He does buy a lot of Disney merchandise. It's insane.
And some of the stuff can be expensive. I mean, collectibles are not cheap, and the 20% does help.
Right.
So.
And that 20%, the difference between the 20% and the 10% offsets the difference between the prices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or for me to buy something else. I mean, that 10% I could go buy something else. In a lot of cases, it's that big of a discount on some of the larger ticket items.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now, my rave of the week is really pretty simple. We both been to be our guest. New Year's Eve, we had dinner. And I really think the theming in this restaurant is really over the top. They did a fabulous job, outside, inside, the tables, the chairs, everything. I think the light fixtures, everything is fantastic. I really think they really went through the movie. They must have viewed it a gazillion times and really made you feel like you were in the movie. I mean, I could see a kid walking in there and going, "Oh my God, I'm in the movie," because it's just really they did a fantastic job. So I have to, a little round of applause for Imagineering.
Golf clap.
Yeah, a little golf clap. Because you guys you hit it out of the park. I really have to say that. I think this area probably more so than some of the other areas in Fantasyland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tavern's pretty good, but I guess we were never. I don't remember. Yeah, I guess we were in there in the movie too. But I really think Be Our Guest, they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got nothing but amazing thoughts about this place because it really, when you first see that grand ballroom, your mind is exactly in that scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Plus, well, now you've got a lot of tables and chairs there, but little subtle things like the snow that they see in the back wall, it's just awesome. And then the animation / magic that they have for the rose in the rose room, it's all just spectacular. And if you're planning on coming down to see, Walt Disney World, then this has to be high up on your list of things to do. Just to see it, even if you don't eat there, which the food is outstanding. Yeah. But just to see it is completely worth it.
Yeah. If you can go at lunchtime, you're pretty much able to just walk in and then take a lot of pictures and walk around.
Right.
Dinner time, you really have to have a reservation, otherwise they won't even let you cross the bridge.
Yeah.
So if you are there during the day up till what time do they shut down for lunch? 2. If you're up there till 2 o'clock, go in there and bring your camera because there's lots of pictures to be taken. You'll come home with some Disney memories.
Yeah.
Or call us and we'll make some fake Disney memories for you.
Focation.
We'll make your focation.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, you didn't, unfortunately, I pepper a lot of our conversation with ranting, and I probably shouldn't do that, but that's pretty good. I join you with your concern about the premium and the special passes, because we're looking at doing bi-coastal parks this year, so we're probably going to wind up spending the money and getting the premium pass, and it's not fun that we're not going to get the 20% discount, which that's just one of those things. And I could say what, in my heart of hearts, I'm thinking that's just a, big company just taking it. We got to squeeze a little bit more money out of everybody to pay for Cars Land and New Fantasyland. But honestly, Disney, didn't you get enough money from James Cameron for this Avatar Land craziness?
Yeah. I would love to know what that number is. Like, how many premium passes are there? And then what made them say, we have to reduce that from 20 to 10 because it's costing us, $10 billion in possible revenue.
Right.
I would love to have been in that meeting, when somebody said those statistics.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, well, couldn't we just raise the price of soda 25 cents and make the same thing? And nobody would notice,
Yeah. I blame that stupid dragon. That one-off fly of the dragon. That's
and I have to say, when this, when this happened, this announcement, I also got some messages from some people that do a lot of shopping, and a lot of things went up in prices. T-shirts went up in prices. They do this every January, it seems. T-shirts went up in prices. Autograph books went up in prices. The pens by the autograph books went up in prices. So it's not that, our discount was pulled and that was the only thing that happened, but it seems that every January prices go up on merchandise as well.
Yeah.
So,
They just raised park tickets for Disneyland. I know. Didn't we talk about this
yeah.
recently? That yeah, they raise. Well, every year they raise the prices for the admission to the park. So
Yeah, but they got they got hit with the Cars Land
yeah,
construction costs.
yeah. This year we'll probably get hit with a new
Yeah,
Fantasyland
we'll get yeah.
because they're building a roller coaster that takes 2 years to build.
Yeah. Well, they may hold out on that until that's built, and then probably the year that that's unveiled, we're gonna get dinged good on our August price increase, and we'll talk about this quickly, but Disney's coming very very close to the psychological barrier that they don't want to break, and that's breaking the $100 mark per day per guest.
Right. Right.
And they're getting very close to the edge of that. And they may see a dip in attendance when they break that psychological barrier of $100.
Yep.
They could probably go as far as $99.99 and still stay pretty steady with what they are. But I think once they go to 101 or 103 or 105 or whatever, or a stupid odd number they're gonna pick because it never seems to be an even number.
Right.
They're gonna see a dip in attendance because people are gonna go, what? It's $100?
Well, and then the struggle is they do such an incredible marketing job,
Right?
Which we need to probably talk about how Disney marketing screwed up Disney movie marketing this week too. But Disney does such a great job of marketing. Everybody wants to plan a Disney vacation. Great. Perfect. That's exactly what it's meant to do. But the thing is, if I'm spending, and this is where being a local is a heck of a lot easier than being, anybody else in the world coming to a Disney park. I'm not going to stand in line for 2 hours to ride, Peter Pan's flight. It's just not worth it to me.
Right.
Personally, as a local, because if I'm spending $100 a day, and then you step back and think about the hours that you're standing in a line, you're spending for the privilege of standing in a queue line, and I just don't know if it's worth it. The psychological barrier is one thing, but psychological barrier coupled with the fact that Disney has to be careful about how much bang for your buck that you're getting, with the same parade that they've had for years, with the same fireworks that they've had for years, with bringing back the same nighttime parade that they had for years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of innovation happening.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland, I'm talking straight to you. So, that's just, I guess you can put that on the rave thing, but.
Yeah.
So real quick, I'll make this real quick because the show's kind of going kind of long. We got to finish up here. But so, did you see the story recently where a Disney mug ruined the marketing for Oz the Great and Powerful? Have you seen this?
No.
Well, Disney released, as they always do, they released merchandise for the movies on various Disney websites, and one of the things they had was like the figurine of Oz and different things you can have. They released a set of mugs, and one of them featured the Wicked Witch of the West. And they have two different actresses who could have been the Wicked Witch of the West, and they were purposely keeping that under wraps. Mila Kunis from Family Guy, or Rachel Weisz, who she's a great actress. A lot of people know her from the Mummy series. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. She's one of my favorites. But it was between those two people that they had not revealed yet in any of the marketing who was playing the Wicked Witch of the West. And then Disney goes out and starts marketing these mugs, coffee mugs. And then there's this big picture of Mila Kunis as the Wicked Witch of the West, ruining it for everyone. So that made Yahoo. I was excited that a Disney story made Yahoo, and it wasn't like, kid hit by a bus, the park's on fire, or another Disney transportation mess up, So that was kind of crazy. So we would love to know what you guys think. You've heard our rant and our rave. What do you guys think about the price change? And how do you guys feel about the theming for the Be Our Guest restaurant? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you think they could have done something different? Again, you can call the hotline. You can leave us a comment in the section below. You can email us at questions@DisneyParkPodcast. We want to hear from you. This really is your podcast, so please let us know what you guys think.
Right. Absolutely.
And that brings us to my favorite part of the show, where I get to learn some new stuff about Disney. Brought to you by the Disney by the Numbers app and DisneyByTheNumbers.com. It's the top 5 things you did not know. And this week, Tony is going to educate us on the top 5 things that we did not know about the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover.
And as we all would like to call it, just the TTA. That's
right.
We don't need the people mover part.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number 5. 6.84 miles per hour is the top speed you will travel on the TTA.
But it seems faster.
It does seem faster. And I am just going to call this the TTA for us old-time folks.
Yay.
Number 4, there are 629 motors that can be found on the TTA. Mm-hmm. Number 3.
Now, is that on the track, or is that on the vehicles?
It's on the track.
It's on the track.
The little electronic motors.
Motors generating the electricity for what you're going to tell us in a second.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Number 3, there are 35 5-car trains that can be used at the TTA.
Wow.
Number 2, there are 533 electromagnets generating an effect called linear induction that are used on the TTA. And the number 1 thing you did not know about the TTA is 5,484 feet of track are used at the TTA. And there you go, folks. One of my favorite things to do in Tomorrowland, or probably the park, is just ride the TTA. I think they should serve alcohol on the TTA.
I do too.
I think there should be a bar car.
A bar car. That's awesome.
Or a dining car. Maybe have lunch on the TTA. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. I would love that. What's your favorite part of the TTA?
By Buzz Lightyear. I'm a Buzz fan. So like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that's cool. My favorite part is when you were inside Space Mountain.
Yeah, that's always good. Well, it's always better when the lights are on, too.
Yeah.
But now they put up that stupid black wall blocking most of the view. It used to be a whole plexiglass along that thing.
Right.
Which I thought, I mean, do we have to cloak it in, conspiracy? I mean, what was wrong with the translucent wall? You
could see all the dust.
I mean, I don't know. I was in there, I think it's still on my website once, and the TTA and the lights came on, and I have some video of the inside. Listen, it's a roller coaster inside a building with the lights off. It's not a,
Well, there's so many videos out on YouTube.
Sure.
It's not like it's a big secret anymore. Plus, can't you buy like a fun, play version of it where the Space Mountain opens up and then there's like a kiddie version of the roller coaster?
Well, I don't know that. There is that. I'm not sure if they sell. I haven't seen it in a long time in any of the stores. There used to be the Connect where you could build the roller coaster, the Space Mountain roller coaster. So
that's probably it.
All right, kids. Well, that wraps up another episode. We are at the tree mark if you're from New York or Brooklyn, as I is. And I will say that with my Brooklyn accent. This is show number 33. And that is it. So thanks for joining us. We, as always, want to hear from you. Come, comment, email us, questions at Disney Park Podcast. Call us, 407-476-8898.
The Disney Parks Podcast is now on Stitcher, radio on demand. You can listen to us on your iPhone, Android phone, Kindle Fire, and other devices using the Stitcher application. Find it free on your App Store or at Stitcher.com. Now on Stitcher, radio on demand. Well, my name is Parkhopper John, and I want to encourage you guys to come on over to www.parkhoppers.com, and we have a great newsletter that we want to encourage you all to sign up for because of premier scavenger hunts. So visit us at www.parkhoppers.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, at Google+, and Pinterest at www.parkhoppers.
And hi, this is Kathy Winfield Sheely. You can find me on Facebook at Kathy Horizon Winfield Sheely. You can find me on Twitter at Disney Roy Ladies. You can also find me on Google Plus and Pinterest.
I'm Tony Casanova. You can find me at DisneyByTheNumbers.com. And on the website there, you can find all the facts and stats about Disney and the Disney Company, the parks. Sign up for our newsletter. Go check out our photos, our videos. Also, we have an iPhone app, which you can find in the iTunes Store. It is www.dbtnfacts. I suggest that you download one. You can also find us at Twitter at DBTN. Find us at Facebook page /DBTN page. Or there's a Facebook group. You can also find us on Google Plus and Pinterest. And we'll see you in the park.